Giving some people time to get in before I get started. But I do have an excellent MythLab for you guys today. I'm just kind of using my phone right now just to check my sound quality here. I know you're not still private. I know that's not what happened, right? I know you're not private. What's going on here? Okay. I'm using broadcast XSplit. Sometimes it acts a little crazy. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a pretty important archetype. At least it is to me. This is an archetype that, you know, we haven't talked about much because I don't know why. I think because it's been too obvious, right? And I didn't want that, right? I didn't want the everybody talks about the sun god, right? Like, so I didn't want to stop at the top of the hill. I want to give you guys some angles, right? Okay. Okay, I think that's the right level. I think I wanted a little bit, right? It's like it doesn't give you like fine control. Let's see. And I promise you guys it's going to stay right here. Okay, so this is it. So I feel comfortable like this is it right here, right? So here's what we get, right? We get like these extremely powerful deities who are all related to the solar part, right? Like the solar sky gods. And I don't mean like they're just powerful deities, but these are the sovereignties. Like this is when it's associated with authority, right? Like not just because plenty of deities have said, yeah, I'm gonna just like create the earth, and then I'm not even gonna care, right? We've seen that a lot, and these are deities who didn't, who sit up in the sky. They didn't just take over and then not stay around, right? These are the deities who actually set up our structure. So these are kind of important, and I wanted to get into this. Like these, and again, this is at the height of not only creation, like creative energy, but also like your authority. Now, this is planetary sovereignty. What I call them, these are the sky sovereignty. This is the sky sovereign framework. And you see, we have Ngai, who comes from, I think it's West African beliefs, Oludumare or Olorun, and then we have Ahura Mazda that will wrap it up. So these are guys who really sit over their entire pantheons, but they're not too good for us, right? They maintain a contact with the earth itself through the authority. Now they do kind of work through their avatars, so they're not like directly in charge of everything. Like they're not directly like you're never going to talk to these guys, right? At least the bulk of them here. But we got to understand like why they exist, where they sit. This is the apex. These are not like warrior gods, so these guys aren't here to fight anybody. These guys will decide what the fighting actually means. They'll lay out the framework for what to fight actually means, right? And that's a big, huge, important thing as well, right? That component of it as well. Why am I dragging there? I never have that happen. We'll figure it out here in a second. But so this is ultimately what we get. We get these guys who sit at the top of the pantheon. Their power are just, their powers are just beyond anyone else's, right? There is no power structure under which they're not running it. They are the source of the power structure, right? So we get that. We 100% get that. Okay. Okay, got that set in. I'm having some weird stuff going on my side. I'm just trying to work this out while we're here. But that's not going to stop me from talking about these deities. And I wanted to really break them out. Like, they're the skyest god. This is the highest canopy, right? This is the celestial crown for these deities. And again, the key thing is that we're seeing different concepts come across different mythologies. We see two different aspects existing on the continent of Africa, and then we have Ahura Mazda. So we kind of move into the Middle East, right? This is essentially where we are. And what we get is, this is top-down power. This is not the Thunderbolt guy. That's not who it is. This isn't the guy who's like, yeah, I got a Thunderbolt and I'm going to go upside your head, right? That's not who this deity is. This deity is more the one who decides what the Thunderbolts actually mean. He puts meaning behind all the actions, right? That's the important thing that we get from these deities, right? I just want to monitor this. So as everyone's coming in, just kind of stall me out for a second while I get this monitor screen, in case one of you guys wanted to, you know, leave some comments or ask me some questions, since I am here for your mythological queries, right? That's ultimately what I'm here for. So this is one of those archetypes where understanding them understands all the structures that comes below them, and which is everything, right? Essentially, this is everything, because nothing has any meaning without this, guys, right? This is the first horizon. This is the upper throne. This is the archetype of altitude, the keeper of firmament. This is the sovereign above the storms, the law in the sky. This is how we refer to them, right? The eternal overhang, right? The throne of zenith, the world ceiling, the light before lightning, the father of verticality, the crown of the planetary order, the one who sits at the roof of reality, the axis throne, right? If those aren't some names and some labels, like, we see why people, you know, achieve this level of godhood and power, right? You get to be presented, you're like calm. Everybody has to have a beard. You have to have a beard at this stage, right? If you like getting a beard, you need to have your beard. Okay, you can't get the job and then grow a beard, okay? You have to already have the beard in tow. So once we're looking at these guys at the rooftop, we're going to figure out not the gods who fight for power, but the ones who never had to fight for power because they are the sovereign. This is the sky. This is the everything of the universe. Not always the loudest. And most of the time, these deities are not the most visible. Most of the time, they're not even the most visible at all, right? They're kind of always in the background, right? And again, it's Ngai, if I'm saying it correctly, Ngai, Olorun of Yoruba belief system. So this is like the second or third Yoruba deity I've done like this week. Like, I've been pretty heavy on them, right? And Ahura Mazda, who for some reason is just one of my favorite deities. I love the name Ahura Mazda. So what we're talking about is the sky, the supreme sky authority archetype, which is what every single one of these deities very neatly fits in. So what these guys, what they deal in, their realm or their domain or their niche is creation itself. They're all instrumental in creation, but beyond creation, moral law and cosmic order, which when we talked about, you know, this is a major thing because we just talked about the Lovecraftian mythology and how none of them take any, like, they're not even aware of like what was going on in the creation. Your creation is central to nothing that they had going on that day, okay? But for every single one of these deities, they created you or us, right? I'm a part of this too. They created all of us with intent. All these deities here, the sovereign sky deity, we're here because they wanted us to be here. And in this cosmic game of gods and mythology and who's going to determine your fate and go into the afterlife and all that stuff, that kind of matters, right? It matters whether your God wanted you to be here or whether they didn't even care at all whether you showed up, or even if they might not even know you're there. It's a big difference even from I don't even know you're there to I know you're there and I don't care. I don't know which one is worse. I'm going to assume like I don't even know you're there is better. I'm going to say that's better because you can always hope that if you should happen to discover that I'm there, that you would care, right? It's still a possibility. We don't know the actual percentage of chance that could be. I don't think it's going to be a great possibility, but they could roll over and be like, hey, I didn't even know you were there. And you're like, yeah, Dad, you created me and I've been here waiting. You're like, oh, okay. The other guys have already said, I know you're there and I don't care. And that's kind of a double whammy. Like that, when you're sandwiched in between that, you're cooked, right? That's absolutely, you're cooked. But these deities are here. It's unambivalent. These deities have shown us here that not only they have intent when they created us, which is a big, huge, entire thing unto itself, they all actively support our being here, even now. Now, a lot of these deities, they still operate in a more detached framework. They're not as hands-on as we might want our deities to be. Like, that's just, I'm just going to be really honest about that. These are not hands-on guys, right? I mean, you can clearly see anybody who wears pristine white robes, they're not really interacting with a lot of people, right? Like, they're not really like shaking a lot of hands and hugging people. I have on gold. I have on like a gold, right? I have a, a celestial light in my palm. I have a crown on. I'm really clean. I'm the cleanest person wherever I go for a reason, right? I'm the cleanest person everywhere. So I'm not gonna come and you guys like to hug. You guys like to do a lot of stuff that doesn't promote having nice, clean, pristine, divine robes. So when we look at these guys, we're gonna start first with Ngai, right? Let me see if I can get his image up here as it should be. Let's see. Okay, there he is. See, I had my artwork already prepped for you guys today, right? And you know what that shows? It shows progress, right? And evolution, right? And I care. So let's talk about this guys right here. Like this guy here, he comes from the Kikuyu people of Kenya. Yeah, so I was right in a way. I said I believe that he was East African. So Kenya, this is where his home. This is an East African deity, and I'm trying to think, man. I don't know if I had talked about any East African deities here in a while, but here we go. We have an East African deity, and this group of people is one of the largest ethnic groups in East Africa. They are agriculturally rooted. They are very land conscious people and lineage driven. I like these guys. Their cosmology reflects all this stuff within their cosmology. So their sacred place, Mount Kenya, is called Kirinyaga, or place of brightness. This is getting better as I get into this, right? This is some amazing mythology. And this is not a symbolic decoration. This is literally sacred geography here. Sacred land. Homes are traditionally built facing this mountain. Prayer and direction oriented towards it matters when you build the house. That's also very important, right? I'm learning a lot about how these people are actually expressing their culture. So he is not some wandering sky abstraction. He is literally rooted into the terrain. And this is a special association that when we talk about people and a land and a people, like this is 100%, what we're getting out of this belief system here. It's actually very beautiful. So he's rare in the sense that he represents both transcendence, right? He is the sky deity. He is the supreme authority, and he represents a very specific locality, right? Right here. Yeah, that's where he is right there. Imagine that. Like, you can just be like, is God outside? And you go out and look, and you're like, yeah, he's over there. There he is. There he is. Right? That's an amazing component that we don't, see that. And we know exactly where they come from. So per their mythology, it says that he creates the first man, Gikuyu, and places him near Mount Kenya. And then he gives him a wife, Mbai, the molder, who her name means the molder, and then together they have 9 daughters. Now, obviously, 9 is a number I'm particularly fond of. 9, I think, always represents the completion of a cycle. 9 means you have a full set, and he has 9 of them. Now, these 9 daughters, the full set of daughters, become the ancestral mothers of the various clans. And this is significant because this God does not create a chaotic world filled with monsters and rival gods. He doesn't create that. He creates lineage immediately. That's the first thing. This is how mankind comes about being direct lineage from the creator deity himself. Who were the fathers of all these 9 clans? I don't know, but we have 9 of them, and he shows that's what that lineage is. So we see in that sense why some of these things are baked in. So right off of that, he kind of forms a direct line between the divine and mankind, and he is seen as the authority and the moral law all wrapped into one. So he is invoked in oaths, he is invoked in rain prayers, and any crisis rituals, communal, and justice matters. Thunder is considered to be his voice, how he speaks. Okay. Lightning is not just weather, it's also punctuation. It's his expression. And it is said that they have a sacred fig tree, which is a terrestrial contact point. This is where sacrifices are offered, and elders would call upon him facing Mount Kenya. He is distant. He's very far away. He is distant, but he is responsive. He does actually care. The people feel their connection to him. He's not intimate, but he is also not dramatic. He is also a very stable resource. So he is symbolized more by his use of thunder and lightning, as mentioned, the mountain, of course, as his motif, and the Mungumo, or the sacred fig tree. So his authority is more of atmospheric. He is such a part of the world itself. Their everyday world is heavily impacted by their expressions towards him, that they face him. And, that's something right off the bat, especially for this level of deity, like what he is, that they're still, they didn't call it intimate, but geez, he lives right up the street, like literally. And in the everyday that they're facing him, and they're visually seeing him, and kind of what that expression of their belief system means. So that's exactly how he works in that overall belief system. And this is East Africa. So this is kind of the first one. And we're going to go right over. Right after this, we're going to go right into West Africa. And I think we start to see some differences right away. This is just what my thoughts are. But in general, like the way I look at a deity like this, I'm like psychologically, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of people who would have worshipped or do worship him and do believe it, right? Because I don't play about people's beliefs. If you believe it, I believe you believe it, right? So in that standpoint, I wonder what that relationship is. Is it a comforting relation? To me, I would feel more like at peace with the world in general. Like my worldview, if I had that visual confirmation of a deity who's not hiding, and you're seeing it, right? So I 100% get that. However, I would think this would cause some major conflicts in terms of understanding the outside world. Once you leave that mountain and you start experiencing the rest of the world, like other mountains, is it a system that allows you to project that same belief on other sacred areas, since you see him as localized to your homeland, right? And I'm not saying this is bad in any way. I'm simply saying, if you see him as localized to your homeland specifically, what do you see as the creation of the rest of the world that falls outside of his influence, the world that falls beyond Mount Kenya, or are you seeing that this still is a belief system that accounts for the entire globe? Like everyone should come over and give their offering because he created all of them. So that would be the interesting component of it, just to kind of know inside their head how they actually see him in the grand context that all the rest of us still exist too, right? All the rest of us are actually here. So how do you feel about us? Were we all created by the same process? Is he a big God who's like a global God, right? He's clearly got the ability to create mankind. Is this a deity who created everyone, or were we all created? Was it all a bunch of independent contractors? Essentially, did everyone get their own creator, and we're all fundamentally different? But it's a powerful belief system, and the connection to the land itself, man, that's not lost on me. Like that goes really to the heart of like culture and beliefs, like tying the God to the people, and like your creation is here. Your creation is literally here, right? I don't think it gets much more sacred than that, man. That's got to be at the height of like the connection with people and their spirituality, right? So again, this is a great start off for kind of this mythology breakdown here. So I'm going to go into the next one, who is Olorun, right? Let's see if I got an image on him. I think I already set it up, right? Where are you at? There you go. This is Olorun, who again is this, supreme apex sky god. This is within the Yoruba belief system. He is the apex deity for this entire pantheon. He gives them cosmic legitimacy. He is a divine power source. He is a god in the most literal sense of how you would see God. This is radiant order. This is the top, authorization. This is purely vertical sovereignty, and he is at the point. He is at the top of it, right? He is at the top of the entire Orisha pantheon. All the powerful, amazing Orishas that come from the Yoruba belief system. This guy's running every single thing, right? I'm the highest, right? What does Special Ed say, right? I'm your idol, the highest title, numero uno. This is exactly who should be spitting that lyrics. He is the bars that go along with that. He is not a storm god, right? He is the master of delegation, yet not manifestation, which explains our relationship with the Orishas themselves, right? I feel like there's bars within that. I felt like that happened. I'll have to listen to it again. So he is not the storm god. He's not this warrior. He's not a trickster. He is the authorization level of the Yoruba cosmology. If the Orishas move, it's because power flows, and the power that flows is him. He is the spice of life, right? He literally is the bees and the knees all combined in one. That's who he gets. He's life itself. And culturally, we understand that this is what comes from the Yoruba civilization. We're talking West Africa. So we just came out of East Africa, and we got a great idea of their idea, right, of a sky god. We got that. We got to the top. We've seen that. It was beautiful representation. I think we all agreed on that. And we kind of understood what I felt out of that. Well, I don't know how you guys felt about it because you didn't leave any comments on it. But I'm going to pretend like I know. I'm going to take authority that I know how you guys felt about it by your lack of comment, okay? So this is one of the most spiritually and philosophically developed tradition systems in Africa. This is like complexity within complexity, that it is populated with Orishas who govern all types of things. You have thunder, regulated by Shango. You have iron, regulated by Ogun. Rivers, regulated under the management of Oshan, right? Wisdom, which is Arun Mila, and the crosswords were Ishu, and it goes on and on. Like above everything else, above all the bureaucracy, right? Above all the badges and jurisdictional protocols, beyond all of that stands Olorun, right? Olorun. He's so detached from it. You didn't even worship him directly, right? He doesn't even care about the worship. I think he's above the worship. The Orishas, man, they're taking kickbacks over there. I'm just saying, I know that we call them offerings, or you call them kickbacks, right? Like, oh, yeah. Because I don't think he's asking for it. Because they get the power from Olorun, right? Like, let me get into this one. Hold on. And I like the Orishas, by the way, okay? I love the Orishas. I love the belief system, okay? But he's the power. So you go and you take your offering and you leave it for whatever Orisha is your chosen Orisha, right? And you leave them an offering, you ask them to do something for you, and then they take the offering and they go get the power from him, and then he makes it happen. And that's the process by which it happens, right? They don't do it. So you're making the offering, it doesn't go to him either. He doesn't get the offering, he doesn't see it. He doesn't even know. I don't think he knows that they're getting stuff. I don't think he realizes that they're getting stuff, right? All kinds of stuff, like honey. They get brandy. People bring, like Oshan, they bring her pearls. She gets jewelry, shiny stuff, and mirrors, dresses. right? Yamoja, right? I know you get dresses. They bring you stuff. They bring them sweets. They bring them all kind of stuff. Iron offerings. I think these Orishas are cleaning up on all the stuff, and he's the one who's actually doing everything. And he's just regulating out that power. So he's not a specialist, but he is the source. So like they're getting it, there it is, right? There it is. I think I might have exposed it, right? So their cosmology is divided into Olorun, which is the spiritual realm, and the physical realm. Clearly, we know which neighborhood he lives in, right? There's a spiritual realm, and then there's where you live at. Okay, there's a spirit realm up here, and then there's where you live at. So I want you guys to guess where you think he lives. Okay, if you're him and you're the head of everything, where do you live at? Okay, there's a spirit realm, and then there's your neighborhood, right? The one where some people were fighting up the street just the other day. Where do you think he lives at? Exactly. He lives in the spirit realm. And he doesn't even, from what I can tell, I don't feel like he wants. Yeah, I don't think it even, again, my notes. He's not a character that is into moving between worlds. He doesn't want to do it. He's like, you guys go ahead. No, enjoy yourselves. You know what, guys? You just knock yourselves out of Earth. You guys want to take all the Earth duties? Go right ahead. Like it's all good. You guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. And they do. They thoroughly enjoy going down there and racking up bribes in order to come back and get all the power from him to make stuff happen. But you know what? It works. He's just like, I'm the upper jurisdiction, right? I'm administration, right? I'm upper management. I'm at the top of it, right? You guys are all just regional managers. But regional managers with good intent, and that matters. So he is the one who gets to spend his time governing the domain. He governs the entire system like the large mechanism. So he himself is the throne from which Ashe flows. This internal power, Ashe, which is the core concept. Moving on, that Ashe is what he is the ultimate source of. It is the animating power of existence itself. That's a major power structure there. He is the source of existence itself. The things that animate me and you and Disney characters and everything else that's animated all comes from this one source. So we can then understand why when someone says, go get your manager, he's like, yeah, don't come get your manager. You guys can handle it at the store level. All you guys are empowered to handle it at the store level because this guy does such a good job. He powers the world, and there's no myth about him ever getting mad and wanting to kill us. I don't believe, no, I could be missing something. And I'm sure someone who is in this very active belief system may come and tell me what I was missing, okay? But I don't know that they have a we tried to flood everybody out story. I know other belief systems do. Like there's a few belief systems running around here right now that you guys have to reconcile yourself with the fact that whoever your supreme deity is, he tried to kill you. All of you. Right? Maybe more than once. Maybe more than once that your God turn around and say, them. I'm so sick of them. And I mean, if you're following the old Sumerian belief systems, yeah, if you're following the old Sumerian belief system, they definitely tried to take you guys out. A lot of your Abrahamic belief systems, yeah, that was your own God that did all that stuff to you. Okay, this deity here, none of that. He keeps it all 100%. It's the energy flowing from him. He's the authority behind the speech. So whatever they speak, he manifests it. He is the force that makes the ritual effective. So when you do your ritual, which I can't talk anymore, when you do it, ritual, see, I can say it, it is him that is the facilitator of the ritual. You make the offerings, you give all the stuff to the Orishas, you have spoken the right words to manifest it, and it goes up to him, and he stamps and authorizes. He's stamping and authorizing everything they put on his desk. Probably not, but I don't know, man. I think as long as you submit your forms properly, because I do believe he's going to require you at least to submit all your forms properly, right? And the thing about it is, without that Ashe, right? There's nothing, right? There is nothing flows, nothing vibes, nothing moves. So this is central. So he without him, there is no origin. And so from a metaphysical standpoint, he is indispensable to their system. The system literally breaks down without him, right? This is like David Ruffin with, in the early days of the Temptations. Early days, he was it. This is like early young Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5. He was it. He is. Everybody else is getting the shine off of me because of that. And in this Yoruba creation narratives, he commissions creation. He doesn't personally come down to earth and mold the clay and does it. He's not gonna do that. I keep telling you guys, he's not gonna do that. That's not what he does. He delegates it to Obatala and another Orisha, I can't remember who. But the whole thing about it, the key takeaway to all this is that this guy is executive authority. He's a CEO level deity. He's a C level. He's a C level. He has a handler, right? He establishes a structure, and then he trusts that he hires good people. And so far, it seems like he's hired good people. You hire good people, and then you allow them to run your organization, leveraging their skills and their own personal ambitions. And that's sovereign energy. That's sit back at the end of the day and let it all happen. And this is a deity, like, we know him very well. He's not associated with any relics, but we know the story well enough that to understand their cosmology, it's first very important to understand how he fits into it, what he actually means. The Orishas are all powerful, but they are not autonomous. They function within a hierarchy. Even the most powerful of them, Shango, like you're a Thunder King, you're absolute masculinity, but you got a boss. You have to check in, right? Like everybody else. So this is structural dominance. Again, this is structural discipline dominance. Olorun is not here for drama or just to provide authority. His authority is assumed, right? He's not fighting for control. It's not questioned in any way. It's none of that, right? And that's for everybody's. That's to everyone's benefit on all levels. It's to everyone's benefit. And this is one of the things about this very powerful deity. He is known all over the world because of the diasporic continuity, the transatlantic slave trade, which went from the 16th century to the 19th century. He survived because his cosmology spread to Brazil, Cuba, and throughout through Haiti, so major parts of the Caribbean, and I think even into the American South as well. So while the Catholic Church was the layer on top of it, they still allowed. So it was the obviously two belief systems came in. The Africans who were coming from West Africa and the people who were driving the boats, those guys also had a belief system, and they call that Catholicism. Okay, and we'll talk about Catholicism later because it's got a lot of really cool elements too. So these two belief systems get to the New Americas in the Caribbean at roughly the same time, on the same ships. Definitely at the same time, and definitely on the same ships. There will be some other ships that come, but a lot of the same ships have. And they introduced these mythologies, and they just blended them together, and they fit because the saints kind of align up with the Orishas if you look at them in a certain way, at least the way that they put them together, and it works for them within their belief system. So what he represents is this radiant source archetype. He is the origin of spiritual electricity. He is the unseen authority of the ritual. He is the thorn behind all the divine activity. He is the ceiling of Yoruba metaphysics. He's not visible, but he is indispensable. And he's a deity that has been around, obviously, prior to, written antiquity. That's just how far he goes back. Before written antiquity, his development and structure appears like 1 millennium back. He was expanded as the Yoruba city-states moved, and through the transatlantic diaspora transmission or slave trade, clean way to say it, and this modern Yoruba spiritual reckoning has come about. So they're reclaiming it, and really they have him as a thriving figure, and that's important. This guy's been around forever and still operates as a major player in a major belief system right now. Okay, so then that brings us from this smooth suavecito to Ahura Mazda, right? And this guy just looks like, man, I'm chilling. This is it, man. I mean, have you imagined just like you're chilling and your environment is so chill that you have just clouds just billowing, like you're just chilling there and it's got clouds billowing. You're like, I'm just gonna hold some fire, man, just to like show you what's up. Just to show you what's up. For no reason at all, I'm holding this fire in my hand. And you're just like, wow, man, this guy's holding flame in his hand like that. And again, he fits this archetype of this sky creator, sky architect for this pantheon that comes out of like the early eastern area of the world, right? We'll kind of get deeper into it a little bit here. He's apex. He's all about truth, order, light, ethical law, right? So he is structured law. He is conscious order, and he is above all spiritual beings, everything. And he's intervention style. He's not gonna answer the phone either. He doesn't answer the phone. He did build moral law and cosmic polarity. So again, he creates the framework of it. He's not just the ceiling, he's the blueprint. He's not only the highest deity of Zoroastrianism, he is the definition of righteousness within that system. So he is all consuming on a lot of levels. And we can kind of see that that's wild. That's powerful right there. He emerges from ancient Indo-Iranian religious roots and becomes central through the teaching of Zoroaster between the 1000 and 600 BCE. This is when he's discussed, at least by scholars, in that regard. This is where he's come from. Unlike the other two, whose traditions are mainly oral, the last two we talked about, Ahura Mazda's technology is well preserved in scripture, the Avesta. And so this kind of like changes the structure of how we look at him right off the bat. This is not just inherited myth. This is an entire philosophy that's built into this system here. Right. So we're talking about the Achaemenid Persian Empire. We're roughly like 500, 550 BCE to 330 BCE. He is their patron, right? Under Xerxes. This is who Xerxes was given props for, right? We all know Xerxes. Sesame Timbers. So also Darius. So he was the state ideology for that time. He represented the entire state. He was not tribal. He represented the entire civilization. So his concept was that if we compare him to Olorun, who has Ashe as the animating power, Ahura Mazda possesses Asha. So Asha is in itself, it is truth, it is order, it is cosmic harmony, it is moral correctness, it is righteous alignment with reality itself. That's ultimate harmony. He is what is opposed to Asha is Druge, which is deception, disorder, and falsehood. And this is the structural difference between these two, is that it's in structure, right? Ahura Mazda exists in a universe where order is contested. So he is not merely above chaos, he is conscious opposition to chaos. And he is opposed, the cosmic duality is Angramania, who is the destructive spirit. So this kind of gives them this concept of warfare, this struggle that must be maintained at all times. So there's always this pressure to keep going with it. Humans are not just passive observers, they actually participate with good thoughts, good words, their good deeds. So the planetary sovereignty is a lot more in their hands. The sky isn't distant. The sky actually is like, help. The sky is not screaming for help. The sky is like, be conscious of what you're doing because it all figures in. And we see that, Ahura Mazda, like the name itself, Ahura means Lord, Mazda means wisdom. That's a good name, right? Lord of Wisdom or Lord Wisdom. So he is Lord Wisdom. He's not brute power. He is not thunder. He is wisdom itself. He doesn't wield any weapons, but he is associated obviously with metaphysics, mainly Asha and the sacred five, which are the visible symbols of purity and order per this belief system. So a wonderful mythology, like when we talk about him, we're seeing some divine structure. He has holy spirits that are underneath him, and of course, the other beings within that, and several. So this is a very ordered hierarchy as a belief system. It has a very like well-known and well-defined structure. It reflects some of their, this is during an imperial identity. They were really driving like lineage and kingships, and this is later we would have like different types of moralism and duality in Abrahamic belief systems, which will come to this area. So this is kind of like not light versus dark, but more like he is truth versus falsehood. He is heaven versus destructive forces. So that's kind of his framework there. He is a cosmic level being. He's an access of this ethical integrity. He is a sovereign of structured light, and he is law at the highest level. He is the lawgiver, and his timeline runs from way back like 1500 years ago or 1500 BCE. So we're probably talking another two, like we're talking like 3500 years ago. The time of the empire was roughly 550 BCE, and later this would be the Islamic quest would be the biggest obstacle to this belief system, although it's still thriving right now. So we see it all kind of manifesting, and we see three really, really, really different takes on what the sky god looks like. So that was kind of the burn for today. I kind of feel like these are among the best ones that I've done, right? Kind of digging into these. I like geographically what we're able to pull out of here. I'm definitely dying for you guys to start giving me your thoughts on some of these deities as we break them down. So we'll work with some times, but in the meantime, the in-between time, just please, like, subscribe, go to the channel, check out some of the other videos. I will probably be back. I don't know what I'm going to do later today, but if I see something that grabs me, I may come back and do a live. But I'll at least have a myth going for you guys. I think I have some new myths. Yeah, I think I'll have some new myths up for you guys tonight. Otherwise, I'm right here. Now I'm just hungry. So I'm going to go get some food, and I'm going to chill out and then work on some stuff in a bit. But like I always say, I'm always working hard for you guys, always trying to give you the maximum effort.